Good evening and welcome to the St. Petersburg By Night podcasting network. Tonight, we present to you our Werewolf the Apocalypse Chronicle, Rage Across Tampa.
Welcome to another St. Pete by Night revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome back, everyone, to the St. Pete by Night Twitch channel where we play St. Petersburg by Night, a massive multiplayer 5th edition chronicle in the world of darkness set in St. Petersburg, Florida, including Vampire the Masquerade, including Hunter the Reckoning, and including here on Rage Across Tampa, Werewolf the Apocalypse. I am Kent, also known as Michikent on all social media. I am the lead storyteller of St. Pete by Night. And I am so fortunate to be taking the driver's seat of this chronicle because I have the best group of players, the best system, and probably just the best overall experience so far. It has been quite a journey our pack has been on over the last few months, and that journey is just really getting started in the grand scheme of things. While you're clicking around and going and doing all the following, go follow St. Pete by Night as well on all social media. And if you're not caught up on Rage Across Tampa, you can do so by going over to YouTube and catching up on all the old episodes there, or catching up here on Twitch in the past highlights. We have playlists set up for each individual show, so just give a click on that Rage Across Tampa and get caught up on this incredible journey. Of course, I couldn't do this alone. Those aforementioned players who have made this chronicle so special to me are here in full tonight. So, players, go ahead and introduce yourselves, won't you?
Hey everybody, my name's Preston. I play Aiden Goodspeed, the Arun of the Gale Stalkers.
What's up, brother? I am Champ, Champagne, Demon Dragon, Prince of Dragonia, whatever you want to call me, and I will be playing Aspen Weiss, Philodox of the Silver Fangs.
Hey everybody, I am Noree, and I will be playing Malicious Jester, the Galliard of the Black Furies.
Hi everyone, I'm Simon. I'll be playing Joseph Ashspeaker, the Theurge of the Ghost Council.
So I'm not sure a good way to transition from the Prince of Dragonia to our story, but I'm going to do my very, very best to do so. We find ourselves 2 weeks removed from the night, well, 3 weeks now removed from the night the prison break occurred, the night that Ryder took his final breath in an act to save Jester and her friends during that prison break. Since then, penance has been paid, or at least the road to redemption has started for Jester, as after a tense confrontation with Aspen and being saddled with Aiden as a babysitter living at the campground, she's had some time to process everything that's been going on. Although processing grief is a very, very difficult thing and can take a lot longer than it seems. And while penance was paid after visiting Grandmother Willow and having the visions of Ryder's greatest tragedies, there's still a long, long road to go. But it's the ties that bind that bring us back to who we are. It's what puts us where we need to be, and it's what makes us whole, whether it's in a community, in a pack, in a neighborhood, or even in a family. And our pack is a combination of all of that. For they started as strangers, became acquaintances, possibly friends, and now they are united as a family. But families fight, and difficulties in family relations can cause fracturing and possibly even break a family when intense enough. Will Jester and Aspen be able to heal old wounds? Will Aiden stop seeing Jester's presence as a punishment and rather a pleasure once again? And will Joseph be able to find peace with everything that's going on, having the entire weight of the pack on his shoulders, attempting to rebuild the caern, to reestablish the presence of the Garou in Tampa, but also being just a person with his own feelings and thoughts and traumas to consider? And that's where we're going to start our story tonight. Joseph, it's been a few weeks since everything happened with the prison break, but you've managed to kind of stay distant from all of it, stay removed, trying to stay focused on the task at hand of building the caern, of figuring out how the city is going to work with this new edition or this returning edition of the caern, and trying to sort out and find out where the threats are the most concentrated. But tonight, you find yourself in Lettuce Lake Park, because before everything happened, before everything went wrong, you'd had it in your mind that you could reach out to Star to potentially become the pack patron. Because of the relations you'd had in the past, because of her assistance in the Umbra in helping you secure the Tear of Gaia, she seemed like the best fit to represent this pack. Of course, Grandmother Willow stands as a spiritual guardian of the Sept, but the pack needs its own patron. So, you stand upon the observation tower at Lettuce Lake Park, where you'd gone before, where you'd seen shadows of the past and possibly even visions of the future. What's going through Joseph's mind, considering all of the things that have happened over the past several weeks?
So Joseph has been spending the last few weeks going around town when he's not preparing the caern at the Memorial Gardens, when he's not cleaning and preparing. He's been going around and trying to distract himself from thinking too hard about everything, and to do his job. Trying to look for places where the gauntlet may be thin, where it may be extra thick, where there may be more or less spiritual activity or ghostly activity. And he's pretty much done what he can, and he's realizing he's running out of work to distract himself. So he sets back to the task that he thought about before everything went. And he returns up to Lettuce Lake to talk to Star, as he asked the pack just before everything went sideways, hoping they still have the same blessing, they still have the same opinion, he'll carefully go up to the top, keep an eye out for the shadows, knowing they're there, giving them the respect that they, would be due. Although they're a negative thing, he still doesn't want to get in their way. And we'll go through the same process of sitting down and looking up and looking to see if he can find Star.
So is it your intention to activate penumbral senses again?
Yeah, given how hard it is to cross over anywhere in town, trying to do that solo, like a fully crossover, would be very difficult. So he would definitely be trying to do penumbral senses.
Okay. So I believe that costs a willpower, if I remember correctly. And what is the roll that is associated?
One willpower, and I roll intelligence and wisdom. That is 5 successes on that roll.
5 successes. Closing your eyes, focusing beyond the gauntlet, beyond the veil, beyond the wall that separates our world and the world beyond. You take a few slow, steadying breaths. You speak the words, the mantra. You burn the herbs. And as you open them again, it is, as previously described, almost like a photo negative on top of a photo. You see both this world and the world beyond. You see a full lake in front of you, but you also see the mostly empty lake within the Umbra. The water seems not to have changed in the Umbra since the last time you visited. It doesn't look like it's gotten any more shallow, but it doesn't look like it's gotten any deeper, almost as if the last few weeks have been a step forward and a step back at the same time. Looking across the water, you see the tall standing tree that has been a gathering place for you before and a place of residence for Star when she deigns to visit the surface. What is it you wish to say? How is it you wish to beckon her forward?
I know you can see me up there. I believe I can see you. Surprisingly, it's a clear enough night, and I'm hoping you have the time to talk again. It'd be nice to see a friend.
Go ahead and give me a charisma and persuasion check, but I will give you one additional die as the emotional need kind of comes through, that you ask for a friend, that you're not asking for a favor, that you're not asking for anything other than her presence, at least at the current moment.
I get 1.
For a while, there's no response. The stars, all up above in the sky, both here and in the Umbra, twinkle ever so gently. There had been an eclipse earlier this day, which was a sight to behold as the moon passed over in front of the sun, obscuring the light for just a few moments, causing a halo in an almost cosmic event. As you wait, time passes slowly, and a part of you starts to worry, wonder, and maybe even start to become disappointed at the lack of response. And just as you're about ready to call it a night, pack up your belongings, and head out, up above, a star starts to fall. Slowly at first, but picking up speed as it descends towards the ground below. At one point, as it approaches the ground, you see it make almost like a little loop-de-loop before landing on one of the tree branches across the water, causing the tree to sag ever so slightly, catching and embracing the figure that has arrived on its branches. The branch bobs a few times as the glowing entity sits upon the long extended limbs. And then you hear a very distant voice from across the water. Joseph!
Smiling, he'll get up and run down around the lake and quickly get over to where the tree is.
By the time you reach the tree, you can see Star is sort of lazily lounged on one of the long roots that stick out at the base of the tree, almost like she's laid out on a chaise lounge, once again taking the form of a human female, tiny, of course, no more than maybe a 1.5 feet tall. She's looking less like Aspen as she has previously appeared, and more kind of like an amalgam of Aspen and Jester, a little bit of you, a little bit of Aiden, kind of adopting features of all of the various members of the pack. But as she lays out on the root, you can see that she seems a little bit exhausted. She seems to be a little bit fatigued as she just rests there, but as you approach, she sits up and looks over in your direction and gives a lazy wave.
Hello again. Are you well?
Oh yes. It was a very busy day for us. She had other plans today. Her usual daytime passage means that we don't get a lot of sleep. But it's okay. It's a wonderful thing. It's a magical thing. But it is a long day.
Well, then I won't keep you very long. I just wanted to check in.
No. It's already too long since I've seen you last time. Although maybe not so long for you, but it feels really long. No.
It's
Take
been
your time.
really long. It has been a very long few weeks.
Really? Tell me about it.
Well, to throw it out there, we lost someone you may know from before. There was one of us, a guru, who was in this in the city for a long time, and he passed a few weeks ago. His name was Ryder. He was a Red Talon, one of the Full Moon.
Okay.
And he fought before when there were more of us.
Okay. So one of the ones that didn't leave, or what'd you say? Pass.
Yeah. He stuck around when the others were gone. He was not of this caern up here. He was of the gardens with Grandmother Willow when he was a fighter and younger. But he passed. He died. Went on to Luna. With honor, surprisingly. He fought to save some of Jester's friends and didn't make it through the fight.
Why is that surprising?
Because up until that moment, he was not living with a lot of honor. He had lost himself to the rage, to the war, and he did some things to hurt our pack. But he did what he could in the end to try to make up for that.
Do you think he succeeded?
As best as anyone can in this town, I think. Some damage can't be undone. Some wounds can't be healed, but he did what he could in that moment.
Are you wounded, Joseph?
Not by him, not directly. It wasn't my friends he hurt directly. It wasn't people I knew, but you know, it's sobering to remember just how easily the things around us can be damaged when we fight.
Well, that's what fighting does, especially when it becomes widespread and reckless.
Yeah. Reckless is the problem. We tend to do that when we let go.
And what about the others? You're a very empathic person. You feel, or at least it seems like you're carrying their weight as well. So maybe you weren't wounded directly, but you're still wounded. I can tell.
Yeah, it's seeing Jester hurt was painful, but just by proxy. It was Jester's family that was put in danger and hurt. Seeing the anger and the confusion amongst the pack has been difficult as we process what happened and how it happened and the decisions made and the recklessness. I worry that it may start a crack. We just got together. We've been together for a short time. We've been working together and growing, but this is a pretty big hit, and that crack could be a problem in the future.
So what are you going to do about it?
I think we need guidance, and we have some of Garu nature, you know, but I think we need guidance from something else. I think we need something to tie us together to reaffirm our connection as a pack.
What, like rope? Or vines?
No, something symbolic. Something.
A picture of rope? Or vines?
No, something spiritual. Something. They won't understand it as deeply as someone on this side might, but we need something from the Umbra to connect our spirits together. Many packs, I mean, every caern does this. Every caern has a spirit patron, a guide of sorts that connects the soul of the caern and of the people to the land and the Umbra around it. And many packs choose a patron as well, a spiritual being to
A
guide.
sticky patron? Like a slug patron, or maybe a porcupine patron, although that one kind of pokey.
No. I think we need a patron who reminds us why we fight for what we fight for, why we fight at all. Reminds us who we are, where we've come from, and where we're supposed to go. And I know a spirit who has done that already.
Who?
You, Star.
Me?
Your guidance in the Umbra helped us save Eliza. Your guidance through our personal trials to and from reminded us of what we each are and why we do what we do and why what we do is important in each of our styles, each of our traditions.
I've only ever just been a messenger. I just pass along her words to you. I don't know if I know how to. It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I guess it would be a lot of pressure, but we believe in you. We've spoken about this, and the pack believes in you. And something I've learned of spirits is that while you may think that you're just a messenger, there's infinite potential in every spirit, and belief in that spirit and confidence in that spirit can do amazing things. I don't doubt your ability to join us. Patrons can have so many different relationships. Some of them are very demanding, some of them are very active, but we look at you as a friend and as someone we connected with, and I think having something on this side to connect us together, we could do a lot together, and I think your guidance would help keep us grounded in what we need to do.
She props her elbows on her knees and her chin on her palms and just, wow. You should be the guiding spirit. You know so many things.
I've learned everything from others. I'll do my job, but
maybe they should be the spirit then, because if they taught you, they know a lot of things too.
It was many different people.
Like who?
Many elders from the past, and even before the Garu, my family, my grandmother taught me so much that still applies. When I was back home, I was able to attend a few moots and learn from theurgers from all over. So many that I couldn't even, I would not do them honor by trying to scramble together their names anymore.
Well, your grandma some spirits sounds like a smart lady.
She was wise. But even some spirits I've been able to meet back home where the gauntlet was thinner. I've been able to speak to some tree spirits and spirits of the rock and some loons and others. In knowing what I've seen, I believe in you. I think together we could do a lot.
That was a really good sales pitch. Good job, buddy. Well, I'm honored, and I would be happy to be your guiding spirit. She looks down at just her glowing body. I feel like I didn't dress for the occasion though. What do you have to wear to be a guiding spirit? Is there like a badge or like a suit or something you're supposed to have? That Aspen lady wears really fancy suits. Should I wear a fancy suit?
No. I don't think you should do anything to change what you are, because that wouldn't be you. We're asking for you, not for you dressed as a lawyer, or you dressed as a high priestess, or you dressed as a knight in shining armor. We're asking for you.
Well, I mean, as a star, I kind of am in the knight shining armor, so that kind of.
Yes. Yes.
But yes, yes, Joseph. I will be your patron spirit. Um, uh. Okay. So, as your patron spirit, I feel like I have to do my first patronly spirit duty as the one who has been watching you ever since you came to the Umbra the first time. Um, you are doing very, very well, and the changes are noticeable. We see them, we feel them. Things are changing for the better. And you are doing an excellent job. But there's
Thank
still
you.
a lot of work to be done, obviously, and it's work that you may never even be able to finish, but at least you can start and pass on the work to those who follow you. But you're doing the good work, and you're fighting the good fight, and sometimes the best way that you can help the others in doing good work and fighting the good fight is to forgive and help them forgive. Help them forgive each other, help them forgive themselves, help them forgive him. And they're going to need you to help teach them that. Because they have their own feelings, their own history, their own emotions that are all tied up. And while you don't feel directly wounded by what happened, I think at least one of the others does. Maybe all of the others in their own way. Because
Yeah.
everyone had invested something in him. But he's never really gone. Maybe he's not, chewing tobacco and smoking cigars and spitting on the ground and stomping all around, but he's still here in those that he left behind, in those that he led, in the memories and the actions that he took, and all of those things still exist over here on our side. All the things he's done have left footprints on our side. And yeah, not all of them were good, but not all of them were bad either. And I think that thinking of him as completely gone or not still helping your fight does a disservice to his sacrifice and all that he's sacrificed over the years that he was here.
Those are wise words. I will be sure to share them with the others when they're ready. Maybe a little before they're ready too.
I've seen many, many sad people, sad spirits, and the saddest ones are like are like bait for Banes. You
Yes,
saw it
I've seen
with
that.
Eliza.
And one of Jester's friends. I have to check on her. I'll have to see if she's any better outside of the prison.
You also need to check on you, Joseph. You carry around everyone else's burdens. You carry around the weight of having to rebuild a home for your nation, for your pack, and for the city. But you need to take care of you too, because stress and exhaustion, much like sadness, is a lure for Banes. And if you aren't strong enough, if you aren't taking care of yourself enough to be able to resist and recognize their presence, you will fall prey to them too.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Aerith's been telling me the same thing every day.
And even if you don't feel like you can talk to the others, I guess it's my duty as your duty. It's my duty as your patron to be there to talk to for you.
I should talk to them more. That would help.
You're not alone, and they're not alone. And it's easy to forget that when you're sad, or when you're hurting, or when you're feeling lost.
Too easy.
You can do this. I believe in you. You've learned a lot and grown a lot over the years. As long as you carry all that you've learned and all that you've gained with you everywhere you go, you can still do good. So much good. And you can still grow and you can still help others. And it's okay to use that same wisdom for yourself too. It's not selfish.
I'll do what I can.
Yeah. I'm getting the hang of this pretty quickly, I think.
Yeah. A pack together can be pretty smart.
Yeah.
So we will have to do probably a pack-wide ritual to make it official. I think it'd be good for them to also be part of that, not just a behind-the-scenes talk. Would you like me to bring them here or anywhere else?
I can go wherever you are. So you pick a good place. I mean, this is a pretty nice place. It's gotten a lot nicer since you guys were here last. But yeah, I mean, I'm a star. I'm in the sky. So you just point me towards where you want me to fall, and I can land there.
Okay, I'll do that. When we all get back together, we'll have a discussion, and then we'll be in touch.
Yeah. Don't be afraid of the crack. Just be there to mend it. Cracks happen. Things fall apart. But as long as everyone agrees to try and put it back together, there's nothing that's broken that can't be fixed.
Thank you, Star.
Thank you, Joseph. It's nice to see a friend.
It is.
It's also okay for you to be sad, too.
I know, but if you say it out loud, then you gotta deal with it.
You should probably deal with it.
I know. I will. I am.
Well, this has been nice.
It
I'm
has,
a
but
patron now. I wonder. I'll ask her later. Well, go. Do good. Take care of yourself. Take care of your pack, and let them take care of you.
I will.
Don't forget to say good night. Because I'm always up there just being like,
Every night. I will.
okay. I'm going to go to bed now.
Yes, get some rest. I should do the same.
Yes. Bye, Joseph.
Good night, Star.
She starts to climb up the tree again, bounces on the limb several times before launching off. Rather than at the rapid pace she flies up into the sky in the past, she lazily swoops upwards until she is just a glimmer off in the sky. You make the trek back around the water to the observation tower. Do you keep your penumbral senses active, or do you let them go after Star departs?
I would let them go, knowing what I'd probably see on the other side of the water.
Okay.
I would, however, stop, look back at the observation deck, and kind of nod and say good night, rest well.
Okay. The ties that bind aren't just the ones that we create anew, but those that we've found along the way. We find ourselves two old friends reuniting after several weeks apart, one having been given a task that at first they didn't care very much for, feeling restrained, feeling restricted, feeling bound. The other carrying the constant burden of leadership. We find ourselves in Artie and Aspen's apartment. Artie has departed, taking Regina out to the old campground to visit with Jester, giving Aiden and Aspen some time alone to catch up and to talk about all that has occurred over the last several weeks. The scene is yours.
Aspen would have gotten some food for Aiden, got burgers, made sure he has his big juicy burger when he comes to visit.
He'll walk up to the door, kind of take a deep breath, and then give a couple knocks.
She'll excitedly run to the door and open it.
As she opens it, he's going to burst through and give her a big hug. I've missed you so much. This has been fucking hell.
So stupid.
That's so
got you.
stupid.
I got you food. I didn't know
Good.
what else to do.
Good. From the place, right?
Yeah, from the
Oh,
place.
all right. He'll put her down and make his way over to the burgers.
She'll sit down next to him.
Looks nice. Kinda. It's not the RV, but it's nice.
It's definitely different.
You're moving up in the world.
Well, now the camper's yours, so you're moving up too.
You know me, I like my holes in the ground.
Yeah, I know. But, for appearances, might help.
Yeah. Jester's not a terrible roommate.
That's good. How is she?
First couple days were rough. We had a little chat with Eliza, and my my anger itself at Jester, Eliza helped me kind of redirect it a little bit, and not so much. I was focusing it incorrectly. She helped me with that. Been trying to get Jester to understand how to use the clave. Doing all right. Just better than you, which that's not really saying much, but it, a step forward, I guess. It still needs some work.
That's good. I did want to say, I'm sorry I threw all of that on you all at
Hey,
once.
At the time, I was mad about it, but I get why. You're just kind of looking out for everyone. That's what you do, and that was a good call. 'Cause if something were to happen, at least I would be right there. So, um, sorry for uh the things I said.
I didn't take it too personal.
Well, it was directed to you. Did I not say it right?
Yeah, maybe try harder next time.
Okay, I'll give that a shot.
But how are you doing with everything though? With the duties, the babysitting duties, I guess is the best way to put it.
Uh, it's going all right. Like I said, the first couple days were rough. I was really trying to work on moving the feelings I was having. I mostly put it into the helping her, trying to get her to helping her move past it and to get me past it. I had a talk with Artie on the way to burying Ryder, and some of the things he said, uh, I hate his back and forth, but sometimes the stuff he says is pretty good. Um, that feeling anger isn't always necessarily a bad thing. It's how you put it towards something, and then him saying that, and then Eliza just kind of stacking on top of that. I'm really trying to do that. I don't want to have to take my anger out on her or any things around. Just use it when it needs to be there. So I guess holding it, but letting it go and not holding it, but not holding it. I don't know.
Using it in a productive way.
Yeah, sure. That sounds good.
Yeah.
But how are you? The
I'm
whole, you know, everything that you have. You've come a long way.
I'm doing the best I can. It's a lot more than I expected, I guess.
It's the burden of being who you are. You were kind of a hard ass even before the change because someone breaks into your house and you start yelling at them. So, that person could be super friendly and you still yelled at them.
They break into your house, you got to mace it. It's just how it works.
Maybe they were just hungry.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel better. I just now I'm worried about bringing everybody back together and how
Why?
things are going to be different.
Why would things be different? Then we did the berry thing and now we just keep going, right?
Feelings aren't that simple, like I said some things that I regret. And
Like what?
well, that Jester is selfish and that she's destined to be alone and that she doesn't think.
Yeah, those are some mean words.
Yeah.
Have you talked to her since?
Not since she talked to Grandmother Willow.
Okay. I think some time will help. You don't actually feel that way, right? Like, obviously, she's not selfish. Like, look at the stuff she does.
I know.
Okay.
It's just, like I said, feelings are more complicated than that.
Yeah.
But now it's just about putting all of the pieces back together. I mean, we've gone through loss before. It feels extra when it comes to all of us together.
Yeah, that's fair. I think whatever you said, and I'm sure it was more than that, were things that needed to be heard to kind of what they did was how do you say it? Ill advised. That yeah.
Idiotic.
Yeah, that's one you used to me, but yeah, that one. But I feel like it's kind of your thing in the pack. That's your job, is to say the hard things. You tell it how it is. If you beat around the bush, we're not going to know directly what's going on, right? And you just kind of cut that time, tell us what's wrong, and that's just you. You don't like just leading people. You want to take them straight there.
Makes the most sense, right?
Yeah.
No point taking a bunch of extra steps when there's a straight path.
Correct. Yeah. Look at you learning things.
Sure. I want to say thank you, because with everything that's been going on, you kind of one of my rocks here, in the metaphorical sense, not like an actual rock.
I figured.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can always come to me with whatever's going on. I might not understand right away. Just give me a little bit and I'll get there.
I know I can always count on you.
Yeah. Just a little heads up. I have a phone now. A little heads up if I'm going to be doing more of that, just to help with that. Because that was intense when you guys showed up. Artie had to give me a quick little rundown, like just kind of like don't really talk to you.
Yeah, I was kind of in it at the time.
Yeah.
But how are things, like, I know we talked about it before everything went down. How are things going with Terrence and all of that? I know that's a lot for you.
Yeah, it's going. I'm gonna really look into um the whole zoo thing. I think there's something that I can get through there. I have a way with animals like me, so
Makes sense.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's gonna be my best route. 'Cause I can't be a wolf with him every time. I can't I feel like I can't do the things I need to do doing that.
Yeah, it didn't really work out that great for my first time. Um, but lessons learned.
But
Lessons learned.
I'm figuring it out, all right? I didn't know this was a thing.
I know, I know. But yeah, definitely talk to him as a person. That's gonna be your best bet.
Yeah, and not just showing up at their house. Probably it's a good start, though. It worked. Like,
Neutral place. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely neutral
yeah,
place. But like Joseph said, we're all here and we're all gonna help you.
yeah. I appreciate it. I'm really trying to get the lone wolf part of me away. The whole pack thing. Uh, it's just something that was part of me for so long that even like this, it's hard to have other people rely on you and rely on them. So it's something I'm working on.
Yeah, And you know you're not responsible for all of us.
Yeah?
You're not responsible for all of us.
I feel like I have some responsibilities for everyone. Not like you. Like you have all of the responsibilities for everyone, and you can have it. That's all you. Uh, my
Thanks.
responsibilities come to more of the physical aspects of things, if that were to come. But you are right. I don't have responsibilities over everyone.
Yeah, we're all, if we can, get back to a good spot, which I think we will eventually. We're all here for each other. So I
Yeah.
think I'm hoping at the very least that, something big like this, as much as it really broke some things down, it'll bring some things closer together.
Yeah. Well, sometimes the river breaks away and makes a new path, and that other path dries up, but there's a new one, and sometimes better. It works out for everyone.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen here. But the as far as the kin seeking, Eliza's going to help me out with some of the more of the leaf stuff.
Good.
Yeah. And
Yep.
whole clear head thing.
Probably smart to be, clear-headed when you're doing something that important.
Yeah, I had fun though.
Well, like recreationally, I can't tell you what to do, but at least with that stuff.
That's fair. But speaking of you and Artie, how's that going?
Really, really good. Really good.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you guys are living together now. Like it's been a while, so that's a good sign, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was more like I told him this is what's happening than,
As you
coming
do.
to an agreement on it. But I mean, I didn't hear any complaints. So
He doesn't really seem one to complain when it comes to you in general. So,
fair.
you could tell him to go pee on a random tree, and I'm sure he would go and do it.
I wouldn't do that. That would be
Just make
weird.
sure it's not my tree, because then I have to. It's just gonna be a cycle. And
Right, right. Yeah, that's why I didn't send you with Artie, because then you would have to establish your territory. It'd be a whole thing. So you get to stay
look,
with Jester.
look at you. Oh, that square game with all the weird things.
Yep. Chess.
Yeah.
I'll teach you how to play one day.
No, I got to figure out other things before I can even think about square hopping things. Shapes are hard enough, and these ones are oblong and rounded, and there's a horse and
A knight.
no,
But yeah.
no, knights have the helmets.
Sure.
Yeah. But no, I'm happy that it's working out for you guys. That's really good. I think you guys are good for each other. The whole give and take aspect of things.
Yeah. He knows how to talk to me, and that's
He's
kind of
good at
rare.
talking.
Can talk me down, which, that was surprising. But
He's got to teach me that.
can I have a conversation with him? He's pretty
Yeah.
skilled.
But no, I'm happy that you're happy. You seem happier here. Is this going to be long term? And am I going to be at the let's say 3 months from now, things kind of clear up? Are you going to stay here with Artie? I'm sure Jester's going to want to go back to her life.
I if I'm being completely honest, I haven't really thought that far ahead with everything. It seems like our life can twist and turn at the drop of a hat, so it's kind of hard to plan. I know it sounds silly, but that far ahead, 3 months is a long time.
It is, but look what's happened in the time that we've been here. But
That's exactly my point. Is look at how much has changed and
right. Well, I was more getting at at first, no one was really talking to each other. Now we're a pack, and now we have a really tight bond, even though someone was saying mean things to another pack member. But that you're supposed to do. But now you're living with someone that I never would have put you with. Like that makes honestly, you told me when we first got here and you pointed out Artie and be like, yeah, I'm gonna move in with him. And be like, okay, sure. But look, look at it now. But if it comes down to it, I don't want you to feel like you have to take care of me. I want you to be happy. And if Artie can provide that in this multiple square location with his computers, I I want you to be happy. I have the woods. That's all I really need.
Yeah, but you know I'm always going to take care of you.
And I'm always going to take care of you.
Some of the connections we forge, no matter how long they go untended, stay strong. Like friends that you don't see for years. You can come back and meet again after a long period of time and pick right up where you left off. These are the kind of connections that make leaving one's house, taking risks, trying to meet people worth it. Other connections, the longer they go untended, start to fray, start to wear, and potentially could break. We transition now to the RV. Jester, you have been under watch for the past 3 weeks, only leaving when Aiden allows it, when Aiden has business to tend to. It's probably at times felt a little cramped, like the walls of the trailer are closing in on you, like you're in your own type of confinement. But at the same time, there's the woods, where you're allowed to run free and breathe easy. But being cut off from civilization for as long as you've been probably feels a little lonely, a little strained. There's only so much intelligent conversation you can have with the lupus born where they aren't asking clarifying questions about pretty much every statement you make. So for the first time since you paid your penance to Grandmother Willow, you have a visitor. Artie arrived with Regina upon your request, and as you started tending to the Jeep, the spirit that saved you in a dire time at the prison break, what's been going through your mind?
A lot, honestly. Most of the time she is replaying some of what she experiences as writer's memories, and trying to piece that together with how she has felt over the last few months, and the fact that, like, the Hirano and Hoglask, like, she can admit she's been in it for a moment, and experiencing writer's point of view from it, she can now connect to, like, the anger she was feeling. Also, she is really glad that Regina is here, and Artie is here. Because other than, training with Aiden and getting her ass beat by Aiden, and trying to explain certain concepts that wolves have no clue about, it's just good to be able to maybe talk to somebody who gets it.
So as Artie emerges from the RV with a bag of more of Aspen's clothes, he takes them to the trunk and loads them in, then goes and takes a seat on one of the lawn chairs out front of the RV and calls over to you. Hey, I meant to say something. Needed a change, huh? As he gestures to his hair.
She'll reach up and touch her now short, dark hair. Yeah, my picture's still all over the papers. Red is kind of noticeable.
Looks good on you.
Thanks. I'm trying different looks.
I just want you to know I understand. And I told Aspen the same thing, that if she were in that jail, there's nothing I wouldn't have done to get her out. And maybe it didn't end the way we would hope it would. I don't think you should blame yourself for what happened. And I get it. And I can't speak for anybody else, but I can tell you that I don't hold it against you. And I'm not mad at you. Because I get it.
You might be one of the first ones, besides Eliza. And it was stupid, but I was desperate. I don't think Aspen quite gets Gorgon.
Maybe not, but Aspen gets loyalty. And she gets kinship, and she gets connection. And her methods are a little more white collar, sure. But I think in a way she gets it. She understands. And I think that this time and space, you'll see. She'll come around. You're doing good. You've been on your best behavior. You willingly went to see Grandmother Willow and saw the things you saw. And I can't even imagine what that was like. I mean, but you're
Oddly
doing
healing.
the work.
It was oddly healing.
You're a good person, Jester. You did right by your friends. Their
Thanks.
lives are changed, sure, and they're going to have to start over, but that's an opportunity they may not have gotten if it wasn't for you.
They
And
wouldn't
that-
have been in that situation if it wasn't for me.
Maybe. Or maybe it would have been something else. We don't know. We can't tell the future. But you were loyal to them. And whatever anger they're feeling, whatever resentment they might have, that goes without saying, without question. You put yourself at risk to save them. And that means something.
Thanks. And you were right. But I think you knew that I thought you were right before I left. Like I said, I was desperate.
No. Desperate times call for desperate measures. It's not a saying just because. But we have to think about everyone else. Gaia seems like our top priority, but Gaia is nothing. The Umbra is nothing if there's no one here to occupy it.
No. You're right.
And I'm glad you listened. And I want you to know that I'll always support you. And I'll always be here for you. You are my pack mate. You are my sister. A sister I never had. You are loved and you are valued. And she will get over it. And she will forgive you. Just keep doing what you're doing.
You think I'm meant to be alone? Destined for it?
No. I don't think you're meant to be alone. I think you're just afraid to be near other people.
I don't think it helps that the people that chose me decided to abandon me when I was before even this.
If they abandoned you, they didn't choose you.
But they adopted me.
Did they adopt you, or did they adopt a fantasy?
Mm.
My dad wasn't around when I was growing up. It was my mom. And my mom could have viewed me as a burden. She could have viewed me and my brother as tax breaks, but she didn't. She could have even resented our existence for being a reminder of who helped bring us into the world. But she didn't. She chose us. All the way until her dying day, she chose us. Even when all of the odds were stacked against her, her health, our stacking debt, she still got up and worked until she couldn't. Not out of some sick sense of obligation, not because society told her she had to, because she chose to, and she chose us. She wanted to be the best mother she could be, regardless of the circumstances. Just like I wanted to be the best brother I could be. Family isn't just blood, it isn't just paperwork, it isn't just titles and terms. The people who choose you will always choose you, regardless of what you do. They will choose you after your mistakes. They will choose you after your wrongs. They will choose you even if you hurt them. And if you choose them back, if you return the favor, that's all they expect from you. That's literally the bare minimum that they will expect from you, is to just choose them too. Forget what the people before did. We're your people now, and you're stuck with us. So no, Jester, I don't think you're destined to be alone. I think you're destined to be stuck with us, your bratty little thrown together family of random strangers from all across the country, because we choose you. And if you choose us right back, you'll never be alone.
Thanks.
It's getting kind of stuffy around here, don't you think?
A little bit.
Well, you've done a good job making Regina feel like the belle of the ball. Why don't we take her for a ride?
Okay.
Slight hitch. Don't tell Aspen. And he walks around and hops in the driver's seat of Regina and waits as you climb in. He starts the Jeep, backing away from the campsite, taking you out onto the main road and taking you for a drive. Everything still looks the same, even though you've been in the woods for these solid 3 weeks. But it also feels different because it's a world without Ryder. A world that, ever since you met him, the only way you'd imagined it being that way was at your hand, but in a different fashion. As you get lost in thought, your mind split between the world as it is now and the world as you saw it in the various visions. Time passes to the point that you lose track of where the vehicle is going. Eventually, you find yourself outside of a very familiar apartment complex. A place for the longest time that you had called home. Artie puts the car in park. He looks over at you and says, I think it's time for visitation.
What if it leads them to him? I can't go through that again. I can't.
Then maybe it's time to say goodbye. If that's really what you think. But he chose you. Even after you disappeared the first time, even after you disappeared again this time. And I think a part of you still chooses him. Trust me, one of the best things that helps you heal is feeling loved. A lesson that I've learned pretty recently. I wouldn't deprive you of that opportunity. The others might think it's a bad idea. Hell, you might think it's a bad idea. But some things are worth the risk.
I will stare up at the apartment building for at least 5 minutes. All the emotions fighting each other of wanting to keep him safe but wanting to see him. Then I'll take a deep breath. Do you have a hat in here?
Yeah, I think so. He reaches behind the seat and rustles around until he produces a baseball hat for the Tampa Bay Rays and passes it over to you.
I'll take it. Thanks. I kind of lost my other one.
I'm right here. I'm watching your back. It's okay. You're not doing this alone.
I'll squeeze his hand. Thanks. I'll open the door and slowly walk up to Leon's apartment building.
As you approach the door, just like the ride over, it feels familiar but different. A great weight of fear presses on your chest, an apprehension. You approach the door, and you're standing outside. What would you like to do?
Going to knock.
You knock, and for a few minutes, the door goes unanswered. You knock again, and a moment later, the door opens. And Leon is standing in the doorway. He blinks a few times, almost not recognizing you at first, having an expression of like, oh God, who is this? But then as soon as he does recognize, you see his face soften. Jess.
Hi. I'll put my finger to his lips. Can I come in?
Yeah, you better. He steps back from the doorway.
I'll shut the door behind me and then throw my arms around him and kiss him.
He seems a little bit shocked and tense at first, but quickly gives in. When the kiss finally stops, he exhales and says, I know it's only been a few weeks, but it feels like it's been forever.
Things have gotten more and more complicated. It kind of stretches time out.
Yeah. So, are you going to tell me what's been going on? Or is this going to be another one of those don't ask, don't tell situations?
I can't tell you everything.
Will you tell me as much as you can?
Yeah.
Okay. He takes your hand and walks over to the couch and sits down. Are you okay? That's my most important question. All the rest can wait. Are you okay?
There's ups and downs, but I'm getting better. My friends are safe, most of them.
So this, and he gestures up and kind of teases your hair. Is this a fugitive thing?
Yeah. I think I have to say goodbye to Jess, or Jester.
She did her part.
Yeah.
So what happened? I mean, details are, well, they're nothing. I read the newspaper about some sort of jailbreak, the jail that I know your friends were at, and it sounds like a cover-up.
It is a bit of a cover-up, but there was a jailbreak. The person that helped me get in didn't make it. He sacrificed himself to make sure that my friends and I could get out.
And you got them out?
Most me is missing.
Yeah, it was crazy to see that she turned stateside in that admission.
I don't know what she did, but it's not true. She never helped with that. I swear.
I believe you. You know I believe you. I just... Why would she say that then?
They played with her mind. They're really good at mind games.
It's got to be some pretty tricky mind games. I mean, she...
Gaslighting on the expert level.
Or they offered her some kind of deal.
Or that.
I just don't think she'd turn against the rest of you. I mean, what?
I know.
I'm just glad you're okay. So what now? Do we move? Do we leave?
I'm not leaving. There's still things I need to do. There's still a fight, but it's not going to be the same way I've been going because that's not working. For now I have to lay low. But then I go about creating a new me, I suppose.
Jess, you got lucky.
Yeah.
How likely is it you're going to get that lucky again?
I have some good friends. I'm not alone.
Yeah, these friends. Are we sure they're the right kind of friends?
They're the best kind of friends.
I don't want to see you get hurt. There's still a lot of world out there and a lot of good that can be done in other places. Maybe this just isn't the right place. The heat is really on here, Jess. Like, really on. Even laying low, I mean, they're not going to forgive you if you succeeded in getting a jailbreak off. And a
I
little
know.
hair dye and a new ID isn't necessarily going to be enough. I mean, I don't know. I've never lived in the criminal element, but it's not a TV show. This is real life.
I know. But there's not enough of us to fight. And me giving up, I couldn't live with myself.
What are you even fighting against anymore?
Worst of the worst. The corruption that goes so deep within our government that rooting it out is messy and deadly. But I can't give up. And you need to understand that if you want to stay with me. Any sane person would say you shouldn't. Part of me says you shouldn't.
I knew when I met you and you introduced yourself as Jester, I wasn't with a sane person. It wasn't a sane choice then either.
No. No, it wasn't. I think it's because you're a danger junkie and you just don't want to admit it.
Sure, let's go with that. Not that you were the prettiest thing I'd ever seen and had the voice of an angel and what if we actually just took that trip to buy some time and cool things off for a bit? I'm not saying we have to leave. I get it. The fight is the fight. But we could go, I don't know, up to Washington for a bit. Then come back in a few months when things have cooled down. I mean, even a few weeks away isn't going to be enough. They're going to be hot on this for a while. But I'm not saying give up, but maybe we just go away for a bit. You need time to recharge, to recover. I mean, you've been through so much over the last few months. I can't even imagine. I want to be with you, Jess. I just don't want to see this fight kill you when there is another option. I don't want all your luck to run out and me to just sit here and watch it.
I'll give him a sad smile, mentally thinking, but there is no other option. I'm going to die in this war. But to out loud, I'll say, I can't. I can't go. For now, I'm off grid.
Well, if you can't go, and I can't stay on the sidelines and watch, what's another option?
We could let each other go.
That's not an option, and you know it.
Give me a time. I have some penance to pay. And I need to find a place that I can live, honestly, and maybe it can be a place for both of us.
You can see that he's conflicted. And during this time, will I go back to not seeing you again? Felt like we were just getting over the first time, getting to a good place, and then big riot at the jail, and you disappear again.
For a while, but I'll write letters.
Can you stay tonight?
For a little while.
I will hold on as long as I can. Because you're worth it. You know you're worth it, right?
Maybe. I mean, Leon, I'm a fucking mess. I've been a mess since you met me. It's just getting worse.
Then you should consider yourself lucky that you got such a stud like me in your life who accepts you for the mess that you are.
True.
You can just call me the janitor.
Mm-hmm. Okay, janitor.
I will wait. But you're gonna have to decide whether you're gonna actually let me be a part of this thing or not. And I really hope the answer isn't not. But you don't have to decide tonight. Just stay as long as you can. And I'll wait for the letters after that.
As long as I can.
Okay.
I'll climb into his lap. So about that janitor thing, I do have some pipes that need cleaning.
I'll see what I can do. And he kind of wraps his arms underneath you and picks you up and starts walking you down the hallway to the bedroom that was once yours together and hasn't been yours for quite some time, but after tonight might just be yours again, at least for a little while. With that, we're going to go ahead and take our break. We'll be back in about 5 minutes with the second act of tonight's episode. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.
St. Petersburg by Night is brought to you through collaborations with our partnered vendors: Wolfpack Dice, Ember Fox Dice, Dragon Ink Dice, Farrah the Bard, Champs Tramps, Pantry Artista, Chromatic Creations. Links to our partnered vendors, as well as our Twitch and YouTube channels, can be found on our website, stpbynight.com. The official theme song for St. Petersburg by Night is Vampire by Faith and Failure. You can find them at faithandfailure.com. You can follow St. Pete by Night on all socials with the hashtag St. Pete by Night. If you wish to support our program, you can do so at ko-fi.com/StPeteByNight to help keep the stories rolling.
And we are back. As we return from the break, it's been a couple of days since Aspen and Aiden had a chance to reconnect, since Artie took Jester to see Leon, since Joseph was able to find the pack patron for the Lettuce Lake pack, the newly reburgeoning caern. Aspen, Joseph, you've taken a long awaited trip to the Memorial Gardens, what was once home of the Sept of the Weeping Willow, which will be home of the newly awakened caern when the time comes. It's a temperate day. The weather is warming up gradually as time passes, the sun shining for longer, the ground heating up. Summer is on its way, and it's most likely going to be a pretty brutal summer considering the winter that we just had. As you arrive at the gardens, there are a few vehicles throughout the Memorial Gardens themselves, people coming to pay their respects to those that they've lost. But for the most part, you're free to move about and talk freely, only falling quiet every time a car passes nearby or you pass a few mourners. But the scene is yours.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it's good to be back on different terms.
Yeah, we'll stick to the outside this time. Let grandmother have her distance.
Probably for the best. Yeah, show me around though. I haven't really seen it besides, being around Grandmother Willow and that spot that I'm not really fond of going to at the moment. Yeah, show me around. Show me some things.
Yeah, Joseph will take her around the different paths. There's plenty that weave in and out of the gardens, so he'll walk around, show her some of the water features and all of those things as they continue to talk. So I have some news.
Okay.
I was able to get a hold of Star again. And she likes the idea.
Oh, that's really good news. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
So does it just work? How does all that go?
We can't hear you.
Sorry. I don't know that we have an official right, like nationwide. It all runs a little different based on patrons and packs. But I do feel like we need to do something as a pack. At one point, we need to get together, call her to us, and have a little ritual of sorts, a talk, set out terms, what she's going to expect of us, what we're going to expect of her. But she's good with the idea. She likes the idea of doing it.
Good. I think that'll be a good reason to get us all back together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're going to need more practice doing rites of our own, not ones from books. That's something we'll be doing as the caern grows. We'll be developing our own caern traditions. So it'll be good practice to see how that's going to work with us.
I think it'll be fun. Bringing things for us, something unique for us and for the place when it starts to thrive.
Yeah, and I'm excited at the idea of having something for us as a pack that isn't the caern. Because while this is our project and we are building this is not just for us. This is for those who come after us for those that come while we're here, the new ones, the hopefully more packs, but we as a pack need something for us.
I agree. But you do know that this is going to be, if all goes well, our legacy, our responsibility.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying we're giving up on it, but this is our job, and it's going to be partially our home, but I feel like we need our home too. It's just for us.
I get that.
Star can give us that.
Do you have any plans for here?
I mean, for the cairn, just keep letting it heal till it's ready. Outside of that, I'm not sure.
Is there any idea of, how much time we have?
I wish it were that easy. There's been an ebb and flow to watching the spirits and watching that side of things. Not just the spirits, but just the energy. And it's going to be hard to completely know how soon. Every little thing we do on this side is going to have an echo, and I've seen improvements both here and at Lettuce Lake. So all around the city, there's the spirits of this area are feeling it. But like when I was last at Lettuce Lake, the water wasn't any deeper on the other side. So sometimes, some weeks, some days we'll get some big steps forward. Sometimes we'll take a step back. So I'm not sure exactly how long it'll take to heal it, or what's going to get in the way while we try.
Fair enough. So we just keep doing what we're doing, and hopefully eventually we get there.
Exactly. Star did say that she knows we're doing stuff and we're doing good things and we are making a difference, and that her and her kin, I guess, have seen that. So if we keep moving forward, we should be seeing more progress. We just have to keep our shoulders down and keep moving forward.
Yep, that seems to be the go-to as of late. I wanted to run something past you, and you specifically. What do you think of making this private property?
You mean like not owned by the city anymore, private property, or like no one can enter private property?
Like no longer in the holds of the city.
That would probably make things a lot easier for us.
It was kind of my thought too. I thought it might be something you and I could work on. I mean, I know I have my legal side, but I know we're all working towards this, but I don't think we could get even this far without you. So.
I mean, I know the people who run it now. Well, the people who work in the city to make sure it's taken care of. I could look into exactly what all goes into it on the administrative side. Dig a little deeper in there. But I mean, I don't think it'd be a bad idea. It would make things a lot easier if we need to secure it, if we need to keep certain influential people out of it. It might be really a good defense.
Yeah, and I think moving forward, I'm going to have a lot of cairn building decisions go through you, since you're the most knowledgeable, and I was hoping that maybe you'd be okay with taking that on as your priority.
Well, yeah, of course. been trying to focus on that already. So, absolutely.
Just figured if I said it, officially, then you wouldn't have to be like, oh, we got to go to Aspen, make sure everything's good.
Okay, we'll save on some bureaucracy.
Right, exactly. But how are you doing?
Work's getting done.
That's not the question I asked.
I know that's not the question you asked. Star is yelling at me right now. I'm all right. Not great. I mean, it's been a heavy few weeks, but other people have it worse. There's stuff I can do to keep myself focused, but I mean, I'm a little worried, to be honest.
About what?
Well, this is a pretty big hit. It was a lot of emotion going around. I know I stepped out quickly. I had to deal with all of that. But I given what happened and how it happened and the words we said even before it all went down and the emotion levels before everything happened, this is a lot to deal with. And partially our first request from our patron is to heal it, is to try to move forward. And I know how trees work. I know how they respond to the wind. I know when a squirrel's gonna jump. I know what spirits do because they are what they are. But humans and Garu, there's so much more there that I don't know how to just fix it or plant the right seed and make it work.
I don't think you have to fix things. You're allowed to feel things too, just because other people feel, I don't know, the words you used to have it worse, or however you put that, doesn't mean that it didn't affect you, and you don't, you're allowed to have your feelings about it too.
Yeah, I know that logically. Yeah, I mean, my last words to him were, I don't like you, but Aspen told me I have to get along with you. So let's get it out of the table and do what we can. A little more words, but basically that.
You might have taken it as a compliment, the fact that you were willing to even talk to him.
Some of it was, I may have impugned his honor one too many times, but I did not get punched. So they'll take that as a win.
Yeah, I'd say so. Joseph, what do you want from all of this?
I want to run again. I can't run here. I can't step across and just go. There's so much green here between the streets, between the little neighborhoods, but it's not wild. It's not safe. When I was home, I could just slip behind a tree and go. There were places I couldn't go. There were valleys that you didn't step into. There were old mines you just didn't want to touch. But for the most part, I could just go. And I walk through these streets and I see the plants and the animals. I see the chickens. I see the trees. I see the water. And none of it's safe. None of it's truly wild. I want to run the Everglades. I want to swim through the other side of these waters, and I want it so that the future of us, those that come later, can do the same.
How do you think we could fix that?
Oh, we can't. We can't fix it. We don't have to fix it. We have to do what we can so that those that come later can fix it. There's no way we can undo the damage just with us. But we can make it better enough that it can keep going. We can start the ball. We can get a snowball and push it down the hill. But others are going to have to carry it. And maybe when I'm an old, wizened Garu elder, if I live that long, I can see the young ones running, but probably won't.
As you're walking, you've found your way over towards the centerpiece of the Memorial Gardens, a place that, Joseph, you don't get to visit very often because it's kind of the easiest job here, which many of the other workers take claim of. It's the place where many are interned. Their ashes put into separate compartments along these long walls that line either side. One of the things that this Memorial Garden specializes in is it also offers cremation to those that pay the right fee and are looking to be interned here. They'll handle the cremation services. As you pass by the large water feature that is flanked by palm trees that go down a long walkway, you walk into the internment area, which is peaceful, a little bit eerie, but beautiful. The strange thing about it is just how cold it feels this time as you're walking through it. With the temperature being in the high 70s, you've been warm, maybe even sweating a little bit on your walk. But the sweat on your brow almost feels like it grows cold and crystallizes as you enter into this area. It's extremely uncomfortable. Go ahead and roll me a wits and occult.
May I add my Umbra specialization?
You bet.
I got 3 successes.
There's a presence here. How it's escaped your notice throughout the times in the Memorial Gardens is beyond you. Maybe it's because you haven't been able to come to this location very often. You haven't had need to, as work is taking you more towards the outskirts, towards the far reaches, and the Memorial Gardens is a very big place. It's a big piece of property. As you're walking, it almost feels like the air thins, as if it's being drawn out of you, pulled away. Looking to the source of where the air seems to be evacuating towards, you see the building. where the cremations take place. The place where you know inside is a furnace that is used for that very purpose. And contrary to the cold that you experienced when you first entered here, you feel an intense radiating heat coming from that particular location. Now, being an employee of the grounds, you're pretty in the know about when certain tasks take place. There were no cremations scheduled for today. Now, Aspen, you're not feeling any of this. Feels like the same 70-degree day, and that your walk is just as peaceful. But Joseph, you feel it intensely.
Aspen, is this just me?
I'm gonna go with yes.
Okay. Cool. So this is part of my job. There's something inside. It wants my attention. But I want you to be on your guard, please.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm right next to you.
Thank you. We're gonna go inside. He'll start walking towards the door.
Okay. Heading to the furnace area, to the building where the cremations take place. It's kind of cleverly disguised in the overall layout of the grounds. It's not meant to stand out for fear of causing more unnecessary trauma to those who are in the gardens on any particular day. But you, having worked here for a while now, happen to have keys to that particular building, just in case someone were to try and sneak in or there was some tomfoolery afoot, so that you could call out to those who manage the grounds and have it taken care of, but could have first feet on the ground to inspect it. You approach the door that leads into the room, fishing the keys out of your pocket. That crystallized sweat starts to almost profusely start pouring at this point as you feel yourself growing warmer and warmer, growing close to it. Fishing the keys out of your pocket, you move to put your hand on the knob to unlock it, and as you do, it's like fire to the touch. Like the metal is red hot, causing you to withdraw your hand almost immediately, but having no appearance of burn scars on your hand or any physical effects.
Okay, ow.
Are you okay?
Yeah, the door's hot for me.
I'm gonna
I
touch
don't-
it.
Does it feel any different? Room temperature.
I don't know how good of an idea this is, but this is our home. All right, I'm gonna here, use this key, unlock the door. Let's make sure there's nothing too bad in here.
Okay. She'll unlock the door and open it.
Opening it easy enough. It's a rather large square room. The furnaces are positioned at the far end. There are slabs and gurneys kind of positioned off where they should be, stowed away for when the time comes and the process needs to take place. Stepping foot into this room is like stepping to the mouth of a volcano for you, Joseph. It is unbearably hot. If you could roll me a stamina and resolve to see if you can even enter into the room.
Four.
4 successes. You are able to endure. Though your body is protesting greatly, you are able to stomach the effects that this intense heat wave has on you to pass through the threshold and into the room. The furnace is off. The room is dark. There doesn't appear to be anything going on here to Aspen or to Joseph's senses of sight.
You have made yourself very apparent. Are you going to require me to slip into the other side, or are you going to make yourself visible?
There's no answer. The heat grows. Even
Okay.
hotter.
I'll see what you need. And I'll activate penumbral senses again.
Okay, go ahead and make the roll.
I'm going to spend a willpower. So that's 3 willpower down now. That's better. That is 5 successes from a crit.
As you close your eyes, repeating the motion of opening yourself to the umbra, you're allowing your vision to see through the gauntlet and to the other side, where you're used to the seeming photo negative effect pressing over. Instead, when you open your eyes this time, at first you are taken aback, almost blinded, as in front of you a pile of ash and coal appears on the other side, a raging inferno burning within inside the oven, within inside the furnace. As you stare at it, looking even closer, go ahead and roll me a wits and awareness.
Five successes.
Inside, you see what appears to be the figure amongst the coal, amongst the ash, amongst the burning flames of a man, seemingly laid out amongst the coal, crawling, attempting to reach the edge of the furnace, trying to climb his way out. His appearance is vague and hard to detail amongst the flames, but because of your successes, from what you can tell, you make out a scraggly grayish red beard and grayish hair clung to the top of his head. You can see that his face is almost caved in slightly in the center, as if it had been mashed in. And as he crawls and his mouth opens, flames kind of start to erupt from inside. The only sound is a heavy wheezing gasping, as if words can't be formed because his mouth and his face is so crushed in that he couldn't even have the mechanics of speech if he tried. He has darkish colored skin, but it also seems to be the color of ash covering his forearms and his completely ruined face.
I'm so sorry, friend, but your time has come, and it is time for you to rest. Is there a message you need? Is there something you need so you can cross over?
His head drops into the burning inferno in front of him, but then as it raises up again, you can see that the eyes that looked pleading and lost now seem full of fury and seem to have the appearance of wolf's eyes. He goes to let out almost a roar from his ruined face, and instead sparks and flame erupt forward. Go ahead and roll a... Let's go with stamina and composure check.
Okay. 3 that time.
go ahead and take 2 points of superficial willpower damage as you feel the flames engulf you, as if you're almost on fire for a moment, but physically you're not feeling the effects. This is instead a spiritual burn that is encompassing you. And as the flames hit you, it feels like pure fury. How do you appear to Aspen, who is just watching with no knowledge of what's happening on the other side at all?
I would probably have my hands up as if I was getting, sprayed with something dangerous. Stepping back. I can't put him down. I'll take a step back further away in the room to kind of like disengage a little. And I don't know if you can command this one.
I could try.
Yeah, try. He's in the incinerator. He is. I can't tell if he's a ghost or just a spirit of rage. He's not happy.
All right. She'll just kind of fumble around and she's going to try and do rite of spirit summoning.
Okay. And go ahead and explain what that ritual does and what the cost is.
This one is newer to me, so I haven't had it written down, so I will find it.
Joseph, as you're watching, as Aspen is preparing her ritual, her gift, you see one of these hands reach out and wrap around the mouth of the furnace, another reaching out to wrap around the other as it continues to pull itself forward. And its hands also look mangled and broken, but they appear to end in claws that are reaching and just grinding against the edge of the metal furnace.
Okay, so I can summon a spirit, whether they're unwilling or not, and it's my honor and persuasion versus their power to bring them forth.
Okay. And what's the cost on that? A willpower, rage check?
I don't think it has one since it's a right instead of a gift.
Okay. Then, yeah, just go ahead and make the roll then.
With it being a right, that also means I can help with it and add a rage die.
That's true.
Yep, so put one extra rage die in that pool, because I'll go with you.
Could I also add another dice because of my favor, since it's persuasion based?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. That is a 6.
As you command the right, how do you go about beckoning the spirit forward? What does this look like, and what are you saying to call upon it? How do you execute the right?
Right. So she's based off of Joseph's demeanor, is assuming he's looking towards the furnace. He's looking in that direction. So she's going to kind of move forward towards it since she doesn't have any of the heat issues. She's going to kind of put her hand on it, much like she did with the tree when she was trying to summon Star. And she is going to kind of look into the empty space of the furnace. We just want to help you. We're here to help you. Let us talk to you. She's going to kind of look into the space.
Okay. And how many successes did you get on the right?
6.
As you are looking into it, the grate and the doors that go over the furnace fly open, the grate coming up, and the flames within the furnace all of a sudden sparking to life as a roar of fire sends you stumbling back ever so slightly. Go ahead and roll a dexterity and athletics.
One success.
Okay. So take 2 points of superficial physical damage as the flames kind of catch and cause your skin to sear ever so slightly, giving you burns. The grate that goes down before the doors shut starts moving up and down as if it is a mouth speaking. For years they have brought me their fallen, their dead. Their sorrow has been poured into my depths. But these were brought with fury, with hatred, with rage. It has lured me here, and I demand more.
She'll look back to Joseph.
You want more angry dead.
I want more Garou. Joseph,
see.
Go ahead.
Then let's make a deal. There is only one way that you will find more Garou to feed your hunger. And that is for us to grow. This city is not fertile ground for us. If you try to consume us now, you'll get 5, 6, and it'll be over. It's been 10 long years since we fought. However, if you let us grow here, you let us work with Grandmother Willow and build this place to be a safe haven for Garou, all of our honored dead, with all of their rage, will lie here. And you will have the glory of taking them beyond. But if you do it now, you'll have one little flash, and that is all.
Go ahead and roll me some kind of charisma and persuasion or manipulation and subterfuge. Pick a dice combination that you think would be appropriate for the intentions you were trying to make.
Sweet. We're gonna go with charisma, and could I make an argument for using the proper language to deal with spirits and using etiquette and appealing to him?
I think so. I think that's a worthwhile argument, yeah.
Could Aspen help me? Do you happen to have etiquette?
Oh yeah, I have it. But I don't know how much help she would be because she's just like, the fuck? Because in her head, she's like, I ain't giving this weird ass spirit nothing. Like, they're getting none of our dead. They're going to be honorably buried, and they get nothing.
I'll have to explain more later.
I would say she's probably not going to be able to assist you at this moment.
1.
Has it been that long? The last fight provided so many.
That was 10 years ago.
And yet you came. And after you, more will come. And more. And more. Joseph, go ahead and roll me an intelligence and occult, and yes, Umbra definitely applies. As it speaks, as it clearly expresses its intent, you know that what you're dealing with isn't a ghost, isn't a spirit, but is a bane. And a bane has inhabited this furnace, and a bane will not be satisfied by deals or accommodations or compromises. A bane consumes.
Okay, with my knowledge of that, would it be reasonable to think that the two of us are not going to take this thing down?
Based off of what you both specialize in? Maybe, but probably not, because fire's not exactly your kind's friend. And this thing seems to have a very strong control over fire and ember and flame.
Okay. Quietly at Aspen, back away.
Okay.
And then we'll start moving away. Let it go. I think it's stuck to the furnace.
More! As you exit, closing the door, you hear the grate slam shut and the doors close on the furnace as the flames die down and all falls still. You can still feel the residual heat on your skin, Joseph, as well as you, Aspen, from your fresh burns that have sprouted out upon your forearms and hands. Some ties that bind are old. Those that are brought here to be remembered. But some of them, no matter how hard we try, just won't be forgotten. We transition now to Jester and Aiden. We find ourselves at Zoo Tampa, the local zoo near downtown Tampa, on the north side along I-275, heading up north and out of the Tampa area. The zoo is positioned back off the beaten path where you wouldn't expect it to be. Not near a bunch of big attractions, but behind neighborhoods and schools. It's a large attraction, to be sure, bringing in lots of tourists and locals, some who have day passes, as well as a lot of students from the university who come to volunteer their time, whether it's to learn more of the zoological arts, or it is just to spend some time with things that are of fur and feather and scale. Aiden, why have you come here?
Main purpose is to try and get to know Terrence on a human side. The logic behind it is that Aiden has a way with animals, and if he's able to get close to the animals that Terrence is associated with, there might be able to bridge that gap.
Over the past couple of weeks, Artie has managed to throw together a volunteer profile for you that he immediately submitted to the database of the zoo and was accepted. This is your first day where you're coming to meet with the other volunteers, bringing Jester along with you, who Artie was able to also put together a volunteer profile for, knowing that it was either that or you leave her back at the RV, and you were very unlikely to do that. As you arrive, the zoo hasn't quite opened yet. It's early enough in the morning before the hours of the zoo opening and being open to the public, but the volunteers have gathered a little bit earlier, probably around 8:30 in the morning. There are individuals in various outfits, a lot of them wearing t-shirts for the local university, USF. Others just dressed in semi-professional attire, but everyone's wearing shorts and hiking boots, prepared for the work ahead. A volunteer coordinator calls everybody over and starts giving out instructions for what everyone is expected to do for the day. Go ahead and roll me a wits and awareness as you are looking through the crowd to find Terrence.
Three.
Just him?
You can go ahead and roll it too if you'd like.
Uh, 5 with a critical success.
Okay. You both spot Terrence, but Jester, it's you who notices beyond Terrence that Terrence is also not alone, as the individual Aiden described as his roommate seems to be standing very close nearby to him in the same group of volunteers that is being assigned to a specific task. As you listen to the instructions, keeping your eyes on Terrence and the other, you find out that the organizer, the one who brought everyone together, has divided the two of you into a group separate from Terrence and his companion.
I wanna be with that group though.
Hold on. What are we assigned to? And what are they assigned to?
You guys are assigned to the birds and the terrarium where the birds are. You are going to be mostly responsible for cleaning as well as feeding the birds. They are assigned to the new Florida exhibit that includes the wolves, the bobcats, and some of the other more feral and native creatures.
I got an idea. I need you to back me up.
All right.
How much do you know? I need your expertise in being a wolf and caring for wolves.
How much do you want me to give? Like all of it?
No, just enough for me to talk the organizer into putting us on the wolves.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to approach the organizer.
The organizer appears to be a woman in her mid-40s. She's wearing a Zoo Tampa polo and shorts. Looks like she has a radio that she's holding, as well as a iPad that she seems to be busy working on as she's going through the instructions. But as the groups are starting to part and move away, you approach, and she looks up. Do you need something?
Yeah, I was wondering, we'd been assigned to the birds, but we're actually both a little more knowledgeable about wolves, and I think we could be a lot of helping out with the wolves. My friend here.
This is your first day. That's kind of a more experienced assignment.
I get it. If you want to quiz us, go ahead. My friend actually has firsthand experience with dealing with packs. And I've been really reading up and studying on the Red Wolf initiative that you have here.
All right, let's see what you got. And as she goes to quiz you, Aiden, go ahead and give me an intelligence and animal ken. Jester, do you have any dots in animal ken?
I have 1. I can aid him.
You can assist. 1 die.
Do I get anything because I am a wolf?
I'll give you an additional bonus die
Cool.
because you have firsthand experience. It's just about putting it into words instead of
Right.
just,
I can act
wolf
like
smell
it.
thing, know how to hunt.
5?
After she asks you several questions, which you answer with a familiarity, it's not too complex. How do you treat wolves? How do you approach them? How do you behave around them? What's the best way to avoid angering them? She nods approvingly and says, all right, 2 people called out sick today, so yeah, you can go with the wolves. The other newbies might be a little pissed off, but just don't tell anyone, okay?
I hope those
Gotcha.
people feel better.
Also, I owe you a soda later. What's your favorite?
Cherry Coke.
I'll bring it back.
So you go with Terrence's group, and by now, Aiden, you've recognized that his roommate from the dorm is also in the same group. You're led by one of the lead volunteers who takes you further into the zoo, past the main complex, off the main drag, and down one of the side alleys, one of the side walkways, along to the left side of the zoo, a little bit further back against the back wall, where you find a newly constructed exhibit that seems to have been opened within the last year or so that is dedicated to Florida native wildlife. This exhibit has been under construction for quite some time since the pandemic slowed things down, but it now seems to be open and operational. The lead volunteer, kind of explains the exhibit and explains what your tasks are going to be as they walk you through an employee's entrance further into the bowels of the zoo itself, into the areas where the common passersby do not tread. As they're assigning tasks, individuals from the groups heading off in the direction, they go to show them what their expectations are for that particular exhibit, and you have a few moments alone where it's just you, Terrence, Jester, and his roommate as you're awaiting your tasks.
Smile at them. So, I take it you both have been here before? Done this before?
Terrence looks over and gives a big smile and says, yeah, I'm part of the veterinary program over at USF. You guys new here? I'm Terrence, by the way. And he holds out a hand.
Allison. It's great to meet you.
Allison, nice to meet you. And you?
Hi, I'm Aiden.
Aiden. Nice to meet you. This is Kyle. He's my roommate. This is his second time here, but I sweet talked them into letting him help. And Kyle looks over somewhat cautiously, but then shakes it off and smiles and shakes both of your hands. So, what made you so interested in zoo work?
Well, Aiden here has been working with wolves for a long time, up north, but he recently moved down here. I honestly have been reading about the Red Wolf Initiative a lot and have a great interest in it. So we decided that we wanted to give it a chance and volunteer, give back, you know.
That's so cool. I really appreciate that. I mean, we get quite a few volunteers, but a lot of them peter out pretty quickly when they realize that it's a long day of work. But yeah, you'll like them. They're all very sweet. You know, it's not their natural habitat, but we try to make them as comfortable as possible and get them in. And I think they like it here, especially in the new exhibit.
Any tips?
Just stay calm. Be calm, be friendly, but give them their space. You know, this is an interesting situation to be placed in, and while some of them have been here for a few years, there are some new ones that have joined the zoo, and they're still getting used to it. So as long as you treat them with respect, you'll receive respect in kind.
It's a good thing just to live by in general.
Yeah, I think just people see fluffy furry animals and they immediately think house pets, and these are anything but.
It's so annoying when that happens.
The coordinator, the lead volunteer of the group, comes over and says, "Okay, I need 2 to come with me for the Red Wolves." Immediately, Terrence's hand shoots up and he volunteers, and the volunteer goes, "Of course, Terrence, I know, this is your favorite task." Both Aiden and his roommates, Kyle's, hands go up. "Oh, looks like we have a standoff. Well, okay. Impress me." And they ask you a random trivia fact about wolves. Go ahead and make another intelligence and animal ken check. However, you cannot be assisted by Jester on this one because she is not answering as well. But you can still take the additional dice from being a wolf in your past life.
Okay. 3.
3 successes. You answer correctly. However, you answer with more expediency than Kyle. And the volunteer says, "Maybe next time, Kyle. Should probably hit the books a little bit more." "Okay, Terrence, Aiden, you're with me." And they turn and start to lead you away towards the Red Wolf pen. Now we're going to separate the scene. Aiden, what's going through your mind as you walk with Terrence heading towards the pen? He seems to be jabbering on with excitement about telling you all of the different wolves' names and when they came to the zoo. He seems to be a bank of facts about this particular exhibit.
He's listening kind of half-heartedly because right now he is focused on what he's going to say because he was relying solely on Jester to do most of the talking just to kind of get them through this, just so he could observe Terrence. And he didn't really think about that when he raised his hand. He was just anxious to get picked. So, but he's also leaving Jester alone now. So now he's trying to split his focus, but as they kind of get out of view, he tries to just be in the moment.
Okay, go ahead and give me a wits and composure check as you are trying to turn your focus solely onto Terrence and not letting the distraction of knowing that Jester is with potentially a recruit from the cult of Fenris.
3.
You're able to focus. Yes, your mind is slightly separated a little bit, but you're able to tune that out and really stay present with Terrence. As you are led over to the wolf pen, you're shown where the food is, you're shown where the fresh bedding and supplies are, and you're shown where the entrance to the grounds is. They inform you that one should go in, one should stay by the door, that there's an emergency phone right next to the door in case you need to get assistance if something goes awry. And Terrence absolutely volunteers to go into the pen, as if he's done it before.
So I'll just stand by the door and I'll
Yeah.
keep it open for you.
It's gonna be fine. They're a bunch of sweethearts. I'm not worried about it. They have new puppies.
I love puppies.
Well, you want to come in?
Well, I was the door though.
It'll be fine. That's just a precaution. As long as we don't do anything stupid, they're not going to say anything. They
Won't
have
be
to
very
say
long.
that for liability.
All right. He'll kind of shut the door to make sure none of the wolves get out.
So over here, this is Myrtle and Watson. They're mates. And she gestures over to a pair of adult red wolves that are prowling off to the side, but they don't seem overly disturbed. You can see that there is a small litter of puppies nearby that's following behind Myrtle, kind of yipping slightly and chasing behind her, gnawing at her back legs as she prowls along the fence. Have you ever pet a wolf before?
Been a while.
Just follow my lead, okay? And he
All right.
kneels down and starts calling over to Watson. And as he does so, he seems insanely comfortable, reminiscent of the night that he saw you, or the day he saw you in the woods. He takes the same posture and just talks with a very even tone, talking about his day. Just, hey, Watson, how are you? School's going great. I've been doing pretty well on my studies. I've got a roommate, Kyle. He's pretty cool. How are the puppies doing? And as he talks, you can see Watson look up and then just start loping his way over as Terrence reaches into his backpack and pulls out a snack. And he says, I brought your favorite. And he offers out both hands open, his palms face up, and Watson makes his way over and just starts eating the snack out of Terrence's hand as Terrence starts scratching behind his ears and petting along his back. But he looks up to you after a moment and says, go ahead. He won't bite.
All right. He'll kneel down and slowly reach out to Watson and try and put his hand like right on his forehead.
Go ahead and give me a
slowly pet.
charisma and animal, Ken.
Can I burn a willpower, please?
You sure can.
Please. Okay. Better. 2.
2 successes. At first, Watson kind of sends a very curious eye your way, almost a very suspicious eye as he backs up ever so slightly. But as you push your hand towards his forehead, he gingerly lets you place your hand on his forehead, but he seems very, very ready to spring at a moment's notice. Then he starts to sniff you. And as he does, that suspicion starts to melt away, and he starts getting even more curious, moving his way forward, sniffing along your hand, and then up your arm, going over towards like your armpit, almost as if he's going to jam his head in between where your arm meets your body.
A good boy.
Must like you.
I got a thing for wolves.
Oh, me too.
Yeah? Have you spent a lot of time with them?
Well, I like to go out into the woods, and I probably shouldn't, but I don't know. I've always felt comfortable with them.
I understand.
And every now and then I see a few, and I take some pictures. I do some photography as a hobby.
Yeah, the wolves are interesting. They're, they like to keep to themselves, but they pick individuals that they kind of like, ones that deserve it.
Well, again, I think it's a respect thing. If you respect that you're the visitor and it's their home, and you treat them with that respect and with sincerity. I mean, one thing that I've always felt about wolves is they can tell when you're lying or trying to trick them. There's something about, I don't know, how we behave or how we smell that they pick up on, and they know when we're a friend or a foe. And I've just always had a way about me. Started with dogs, and then, street cats, and eventually wolves too. I like animals more than people anyway, no offense.
No, I'm the exact same way, man. Animals make sense. Humans are confusing, and they lie, and they're hard to read. Animals will tell you how they're feeling.
You should be like a veterinarian or something, or work at a preserve. This seems
below
your skill level.
I spent some time with wolves. Good chunk of my life, actually. Spending time with them, understanding them. But I'm not really a school kind of person. Not the brightest, but these guys I understand.
I get it. I actually have to work really, really hard in school because this is what I want to do. I want to I want to be a veterinarian. I want to work at a zoo, specifically a veterinarian for exotic animals. Do you know how many exotic animals live in the worst situations around here? Like, they can be kept as pets, and there's some sort of old, outdated circus law that allows people to keep exotic pets around here, and they just don't get taken care of the way they need to be. That's why there's so many preserves and shelters and rescues now.
Well, maybe you'll be able to fix that one day.
I hope so. Well,
Yeah,
if I can at least save a few, that's worth it, right?
yeah, the animal doctors, they don't get enough recognition. They do a lot.
Well, it's their world. We just live in it.
That's right. Yeah. So you've been you go to the what's the university called?
University of South Florida.
Yeah.
Are you new to town?
Newer. Like I said, I was up north for a bit, so came down here, heard that the exhibit opened. I'm like, maybe I'll come lend a hand with, the one thing I'm good at.
And where'd you come from?
Uh, Way up in the Pacific Northwest. Like
Oh, that must have been amazing.
It's really cool. It's surreal almost. The amount of green that's there. The wildlife is abundant. Bears are also misunderstood. You stay out of their way, they'll stay out of yours.
Yeah, I believe that.
Cougars, no. Cougars suck.
I've always lived in Florida, and it's outside of the zoo. I've always been around the city, so I have to really travel far out to see anything nature. And then there's the Everglades, but that's more of a reptile thing. And I don't know. I don't feel the same way about reptiles that I do about wolves.
No. Not at all. The furry things, like I said, make sense. You get scales and I can't read your face.
Well, are you going to keep volunteering?
Maybe. Watson seems to like me.
Yeah, he does. You're the first other volunteer he has liked. I've taken a couple of people in here, and they always usually stay by the door, even though I tell them it's okay. They're very much attached to that door.
Your buddy seemed like he wanted to come with. Does Watson not like him?
No. He hasn't even gotten to come in here yet. He's a little shy, a little socially awkward, but he's a nice enough guy.
Yeah. Does he like the wolves? He rose his hand, so I'm assuming he likes wolves too.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's in the same program as I am, and we've been roommates all semester, all year. So I'm cracking that nut a little bit, but I'm just not good with people. I don't know what to ask. I always feel like I'm supposed to be doing something with my hands while I'm talking, and it's very unusual. But I mean, he's a nice enough guy. He's got an enthusiasm for it, and I think he wants to be friends, and so I'm trying to be friends.
Yeah. Making friends isn't always easy, but it's good to have them.
He likes sports a lot. It's always sports on the TV, which is cool. I mean, I'll tune into the occasional game, but I usually prefer nature documentaries and horror flicks.
I'm more of a I like horror, but I like comics.
Oh, you like comedies?
Comics. The comic books.
Comic books, like the Marvel movies and stuff.
Yeah, those are great.
Oh, who's your favorite superhero?
That's a hard question. Depends on which, kind we're going with, because there's so many. The like Black Panther a lot. That guy's really cool.
Wakanda forever.
Again, he's an animal guy. But Spider-Man, honestly, he's cool. I wish I could climb on walls.
Yeah, I don't know. I love the idea of being away from the city. And I know superheroes, they're trying to save people and do right, but like the idea of this secret place where nature and technology and civilization live in harmony instead of one hurting the other. You know, it's always either technology is wearing away at nature, or nature's trying to overtake technology, and the idea of a place where they can live and coexist with respect for one another, it reminds me of working with the wolves.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, exactly. I couldn't have said it better. A way to make harmony, I think is the word for it, where everyone just lives together.
Yeah, like I said, it's their world. We're temporary residents in it, and I think that if a lot of people felt that way, we could, I don't know, make it better, make it last longer. It just feels like it's getting worse all the time. I hate reading the newspaper because I always feel like there's another development project going in, or another toxic waste spill, or another natural disaster. It's like the world just doesn't want us here anymore.
Yeah, but you're gonna try and you're doing the vet thing. You're
Yeah,
trying to help. You're trying to help the animal. Every person can do their little part to try and get it to figure itself out. But there just aren't enough people doing it. But you set the examples. You show people how. Teach, just show them the ropes.
he reaches over and scratches Watson's back. I feel like they get it. Something that we don't. Like, we get all wrapped up in these really silly and superficial things, like who has the newest shoe, or who has the biggest house, or who has just ridiculous things. Whereas they just think about food. They think about shelter. They think about protecting one another and keeping a balance. They don't overhunt the areas that their prey are. They just want to live and do what they're supposed to do. They live, they procreate, they raise the next generation. They hunt just enough to stay fed. They just
Yep,
get it.
they take care of their own.
Yeah.
That the pack mentality is taught to every generation that comes down, and as some die and return to the dirt, there's that the whole cycle repeats itself. There's a balance, like you said, between especially wolves and the land.
Talk with Kyle a lot about it. He's super into conservation, like even more so than me. He's like, what if we just let all the animals out? What if we just opened all the pens and let them free? I tell him he can't talk about that when we're at work, because, you know, that's not exactly something that the volunteers should be doing, but he's committed. I'll say that much. He's committed, and I just think that, I don't know. I think that he's angry about something. He's angry about, I don't know. I just think he needs time around the animals, and he'll find some sense of peace.
Yeah. Anger's a tricky thing. I also try and handle my anger. I get angry pretty easily, but I'm trying to work through that, and being around these guys, kind of a little more aggressively scratch Watson, definitely helped me become myself again.
Keep you grounded.
Yeah.
They're very, very empathetic creatures. They can tell when we're upset. They can tell when we're not fully present. They can tell when we're angry, that's for sure. They see us for our base natural form.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful.
Saw you brought some snacks in. Do you have any extra by?
Oh, yeah,
by-
yeah.
I'm a little hungry.
And he digs into his bag and he pulls out some treats as well as some what looks to be raw cutlets that he's diced up into cubes.
Wow, you went all out.
It's not the best stuff. It's not filet mignon or anything, but I figured they'd enjoy a treat or two. I don't know what kind of food they get here, but I know they're trying to do their best, but they also have a budget and they have to feed all the other animals, so a little something special every now and then.
Yeah, I know they appreciate it.
Over on the other side of the fence, Jester, you and Kyle have been assigned the task of unloading a shipment from a truck, bringing in the boxes of feed and treats and bedding and all of the supplies that they need to keep the zoo stocked up, trying to prepare for the opening of the zoo for the day. Kyle pretty much keeps to himself, and you can go ahead and roll me a wits and insight.
Two successes.
Yeah, so he's primarily keeping to himself, but every now and then you can see him looking away from the task at hand over towards the wolf pen, as if he's almost checking to see that Terrence is still over there, trying to keep an eye on him from afar. So every time he brings in a shipment into the back area and sets it down, he'll linger by the wolf pen for a moment before continuing on.
I'm guessing you haven't got to be with the wolves yet?
Not yet.
Looking forward to it?
Yeah. Terrence said that one day he'll be able to take me in there.
So, is it because you're both veterinarians that made you decide to volunteer? Or you got something for wolves too?
It helps with the veterinary program. It's good for volunteer hours and credits, and yeah, I like the wolves a lot. Always just seen them in books. It's good to see them firsthand.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What about you?
But I've seen a couple, but not up close.
So you
Honestly.
for community service or something?
Not mandatory, if that's what you're thinking. More of a, I try to help and give back where I can.
Cool.
Someone needs to. And I like what they're doing with the initiative. I know they're planning to try to reintroduce them into their native environment again. And as much as people did terrible things to wipe them out, at least there are people who are still willing to try to bring them back and save them.
And profit off of them while doing it.
Maybe, but unfortunately, I think some people who are the dreamers, who are the fighters that want to make things better, realize that they have to appeal to those who are greedy.
For now.
Suppose maybe touch enough hearts, maybe the whole attitude will change.
Yeah, touch enough hearts. Just keep
You don't
doing the
think
work,
so?
right? Greed
don't
is
think
always
so?
going to be greed. If there's a penny to be made, someone's going to try to make it, no matter who they're hurting to do so.
Maybe. It's true. Greed will always be greed. It is kind of like a poison. But winning hearts and minds of others makes you a larger number to fight against those that won't change.
Except when the ones that won't change make it impossible to survive, to have your heart or mind won over. When you have to work 3 or 4 or 5 jobs just to be able to have a place to live, when there are plenty of places that sit empty with nobody living inside, while they build more subdivisions, getting rid of more and more land that these wolves could be prospering in.
That's why just doing good isn't the only thing you have to do. You have to fight those that are greedy.
I'd love to see one of those money bags in that pen with that wolf. No money to protect them, no weapons. Then see who walks away. Money can't save them then.
No, but humans are more than greed. All of them possess a spirit of survival. And I don't think even that greedy person would go down without a fight. Besides, when you start dragging yourself down to them, you become like them. You become just as poisoned.
You're probably right.
But I get you. Sometimes it's just good to see someone getting their comeuppance.
He doesn't respond to that, but he just kind of nods his head as he heads back to the truck for another crate. After that, when you attempt to talk to him or address him, he just simply answers in one-word answers or very short clipped sentences, as he seems to be thinking about what you've said, but also seems to be purposefully avoiding engaging any further. As
I
if
won't
he's
push
already
him.
said too much.
I won't push him. Hopefully I've put a little spark of doubt in whatever the cult has been teaching him.
Go ahead and give me a charisma and persuasion check just to see how big that spark is.
Cool. Can I also use my rhetoric specialty?
Yes, for sure. This is very much rhetoric.
Can I spend a willpower?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I got 5 successes.
5 successes. He definitely seems deep in thought about what you're saying. And as the 4 of you work for a good majority of the morning, eventually lunchtime comes, and Terrence and Kyle have to head back to class. Terrence says, "Hey, it was really good to meet you, Aiden. If you're going to keep volunteering, maybe I'll bring by some of my photography. If you want to see the wolves in their actual habitat, I got a couple good shots."
Yeah, that'd be great.
Cool. Well, we'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully we see you then.
I'll try and swing by.
Okay. It was nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Allison?
Right. Good to meet you, Kyle.
He just raises a hand as he's already started walking away.
Enjoy your sports games.
Doesn't say anything. With that, we're going to transition to our final scene of the evening. Aspen, you are at the law office. You have been working diligently to try and push along the process of getting the memorial gardens turned into private property once again. Now, for those that don't know, about almost a decade ago, it became city-owned property, which means that the city has to maintain and run it. You're working with Rachel, the lead lawyer of Hart and Associates, who is helping you with this task, because when you ask Rachel to do something, she never really gives you too much trouble about it, never asks why, and always seems to set aside some time for you. So go ahead and make 2 rolls for me. One of them being wits and finance, the other being wits and politics. And we're going to see how much progress you do make. Now, you can take an additional die on both from Rachel's assistance.
So that's a 3 on wits and finance.
Okay?
And a 5 on wits and politics.
Okay. What is the name of the organization that is purchasing this property? Putting you on the spot here.
We will call it Healing Earth LLC.
Healing Earth LLC. So as you're doing the paperwork, you find all of the means and strategies within law, and you suss out all the cost benefits that the city would gain if this were to fall under private property ownership again, how much they would save on maintenance costs and upkeep costs if it were under private ownership, and how much it would save, most importantly, the taxpayers. As you finish up the paperwork, Rachel looks over it with an appraising eye and then gives a nod. This organization hired you to do this? What do you think they're going to use it for?
I'm hoping that they're just going to make sure it's taken care of and bring some life back into it.
Well, looks airtight to me. I'll get it sent over to the judge and we'll get this sale underway. But I think that with all of the cost benefits and analysis you've done here, I don't see any politician worth their salt not salivating at the money that could be saved.
Absolutely. I think it'll be a lucrative trade on both sides.
If all goes well, I think we'll have it approved, hopefully in 24 to 48 hours, and then they'll just finalize the sale and it'll move forward.
That's amazing.
How are you doing, by the way? It's been a while.
I'm doing okay. I found myself working with some other environmentalists. Nothing like, official, but just getting some stuff done, and it's been kind of ebb and flowing.
And that special project you were working on, how's that going?
Well, the pro bono case has hit a snag, so that's no longer being worked on at the moment. Red tape and all of that, and with the jail situation, I've kind of been pushed out, so.
Yeah, those things get really sticky, especially with that confession that came out a few weeks back. Can't imagine that's going to help at all.
Right.
What do you want to do? You just back off?
I'm thinking we back off for now. I do still want to get as much information as I can about Bateman and Co. just to know what we're dealing with, especially if it picks back up later. But for now, I'm just gonna back off and let the city do what the city does.
Okay. Probably for the best. It would look really, really bad if we went up against them in some sort of high-profile case. I mean, for a good reason, absolutely. But there's one thing I've learned, and you can see a weariness on her face as she says this. Some fights you're just not going to win. You gotta live to fight another day.
Understandable, but every fight is worth fighting, if you've taught me anything.
Yeah. Hey, I haven't told you recently, but I'm really glad you're here. I'm really glad that you came out here. It's a big difference from college, and I'm still finding my footing, even as the lead out here. But I feel better knowing that I've got you on my side and that we're doing the good work. You're kind of like a conscience. It's easy to get swept up in all the fancy cars and suits and cases, and in the big city like this it just gets overwhelming sometimes. But you remind me where we come from and why we do what we do.
Right? That's what makes us different from the others around here, right?
Yeah. Speaking of which, what are you doing? How's school going?
I've uh, it's to be honest, I haven't really been working on it a whole lot. My mind has been other places.
You can't be a paralegal forever. Gotta move on.
Can't I? You're always going to need a paralegal.
Yes, but I'm not always going to be able to pay a paralegal what I pay you. Gotta win more cases and actually start charging clients if we're going to be able to keep this thing afloat. And having Hart, Weiss, and Associates sounds way better off the tongue.
You make a fair point. I'll get back into it once I get some reprieve, get a little bit of time to sit and work on it.
Well, since this looks all wrapped up and we're having to back off that pro bono case, I think it's time that you focus more on schoolwork.
Okay, yeah, I will.
Promise me.
I promise.
Okay. You're doing a lot of good here, and I want you to keep doing that good.
I plan on it. I'm here until I get pushed out or, you get sick of me.
I'll never get sick of you. You're the stubbornness I need around here. A bunch of kiss asses out there just doing whatever I tell them to. You give me the pushback to fight the good fight.
Somebody's got to.
Let's go get lunch.
Yeah.
With that, she picks up the paperwork, saying that she's going to drop it off at the judge's office, and you head out to her Chrysler Sebring 2000s model convertible that she still holds on to almost 20 years later. Climbing into the car, you drive past the courthouse where she goes into the friend of the court and files the documents with the judge. You go off, you have a lovely lunch where she continues to regale you with stories of college that you return in kind, and you have a very enjoyable meal together. You head back to work, finish out the day, and as you go, she reminds you again how grateful she is that you're around before you part ways. We transition to later that evening. Along a road on an overpass, a bridge crosses over a long river. The bridge is colored by the flashing blue and red lights of emergency vehicles. One of the guardrails of the bridge is completely smashed and broken. The smell of tire burns can be felt from the asphalt. Down in the water, bubbles float to the surface. as a Chrysler Sebring sinks to the bottom of the river. Up on the bridge, a stout, muscular woman with a missing arm and curly brown hair stares down at the wreckage and smiles. And that is where this session comes to a close. Thank you so much to these amazing players. Thank you so much to everybody watching at home. Rage Across Tampa is live every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. So show back up next week where we can see the fallout of what happened to Miss Rachel Hart and how Aspen will react when the news comes across her way. Go follow St. Pete by Night on all social media and stay tuned. We've got a lot of amazing programming this week. On Thursday, we've got Don't Get Caught. On Friday, we've got What the Hell Is That? Our Hunter the Reckoning Chronicle. On Saturday, we are speaking to the World of Darkness social media ambassador, Huddy von Schland, who is going to be talking with us on After Dark about all of her experiences in the world of darkness and what it's like being a brand ambassador for something that we have loved and supported for so long. And then on Sunday, we have Bloody Strings, another Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle. So stay tuned. Lots and lots of amazing content coming your way. Go support all of these incredible players on their social media. And stay tuned. There's a lot more drama, comedy, and excitement coming your way from St. Pete by Night. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good night, everyone.
This has been a St. Petersburg by Night production. Rage Across Tampa is produced in agreement with the World of Darkness and Darkback. The storyteller for Rage Across Tampa is Kent. Tonight's characters were voiced by Preston, Champ, Noree, and Simon. Visit our website at stpetbynight.com for more information about all of our productions and how you can become part of our community. Thank you for listening. Until next time, fangs, stakes, and claws out.